Hi folks, welcome to Crisco's Corner. Unfiltered commentary. Not your truth, the real truth. Please like, share, and subscribe. And as always, thank you for your support. Hi, welcome back from PJ Media. Portland's black leaders ask woke white folk to stop ruining things. Oh. You mean all those clueless white progressives and leftists that come from rich or upper middle class and had pampered lives and never wanted for anything, never had an issue? All of a sudden now, you don't want them speaking for you anymore and protesting? What could be the problem? The left in Portland is having a family feud. Well, this is uncomfortable. I like this guy's sarcasm right off the bat. Portland, Oregon has been bearing the brunt of more peaceful protests than any other city since last summer. Leftist anarchy reigns here, and there is no end in sight. True. For those of you that say that they all went down because of the deal Trump made with the federal troops last year, go to Dark Horse Podcast. They live in that Portland area. It's Brett Weinstein and his wife, Heather. They're fairly liberal, but they're the old school liberals, which I can deal with all the time. The ones that believe in free speech, the one that believes in real science. I mean, real science. They're both professors at Evergreen that were put out. I believe they both have, they taught biology, if I'm not mistaken. But either way, they are reasonable and rational liberals. The liberals that stood up at Berkeley that push for free speech. The liberals that think even taking conservative people off of platforms like YouTube and others is wrong. Imagine that. It has been noted that a lot of the riot types in Portland are down with the struggle white people. That seems a little racist at first blush, probably because seeing a bunch of white people speak and act for black people is. Yeah, it is racist. It would appear that some of the radical left black hierarchy in the City of the Roses are no longer amused by the antics of their woke white brethren. Yep, here we go. Leaders from the Portland black community wrote an open letter calling on white protesters to stop doing damage to us. Protesters say they seek racial justice, have damaged black-owned businesses, and a Boys and Girls Club serving mostly people of color. Awkward. I like this guy already. So here's the thing. Too bad people wrote this letter asking the white progressives and leftists to stop because you heard of them. Too bad. That's the date you brought to the dance, folks. You didn't mind them last year when they were pillaging and burning even the black community's businesses and the Boys and Girls Club. Why? Because they were enemies against your so-called enemy. Well, now these useful idiots aren't needed anymore. You want to cut them loose. Too bad. Too bad. You lost all credibility with me, not just me, millions and millions of other people by saying nothing concerning these morons as they were smashing businesses, burning down buildings in major cities all across the country all year. Your response was crickets. Crickets. Well, you know what? Too bad. Let's see what they have to say. As an array of black writers, speakers, artists, activists, teachers, parents, and professionals. What? You're not a professional? You work for free? Oh, okay. You are. Everybody that works is a professional. We already struggle to survive in a state that makes every effort to reshuffle and erase us. They're in Oregon, for Pete's sake. They're in Western Oregon. It's as liberal as they get, except for maybe California, but I tell you, it's damn close. Reshuffle and erase us. Oh, God. We need our allies in this fight to understand and honor this fact. Understanding that doing damage to us, our communities, and our resources undoes the work we do. Black people are not a monolith. Ding, 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 ding. And there you have it. These, look at Antifa. What are they, 98% white, I think, or more? Most of them come from upper middle class and rich families, believe it or not. They've had pampered lives, have absolutely no meaning in their life and no direction. So this is where they end up. It's amazing to me. But they all think that brown and black people all think the same and all had the same experiences. The Hispanic community is very, very diverse, from culture through political ideology and everything in between. Ask a Puerto Rican or somebody that came from Puerto Rico about Cinco de Mayo and see what they say. They'll probably punch you in the face. I know. My store was in a very high black and Hispanic neighborhood for over 20 years. Ask one. Ask a Puerto Rican how he thinks of Cinco de Mayo and see what he says. Because the white liberals, I should say progressives and leftists, think that all Hispanic people think the same. And that is racist by definition. Black people are not a monolith. And having a complicate black person in your planning space does not indicate support from the black community. Who's the black community? The people that have the biggest egos and the biggest mouths saying they are the black community. I used to have a couple of trans come in my store over the years on a regular basis. One passed away and one moved. They used to talk to me all the time when I was a city councilman in the early 2000s. Say, wait a minute, these people that come down and talk to you at a city council meeting, they don't represent me. I said, well, they say they represent the trans community. Well, I heard them calling you names, John. Let me go down and straighten them out. I says, no, that's fine. I'll pass. You're not like that. I said, yeah, I'm aware. As long as I know and as long as you know, that's all I care about. They just take their egos, they take their arrogance and narcissism and say, I am now representative of X, Y, or Z. And I speak for all of them. It's a lie. It's a con. For decades, efforts toward black liberation have suffered at the hands of well-meaning allies and predatory opportunists. And over the last year, we have watched as people have profited from and damaged our movement without our consent or approval. You mean the co-founders of Black Lives Matter that bought $3 million worth of property is looking for another place in the Caribbean? And the places she bought the property, the one in California, was 98.6% white, the section she bought a house in. Oh, you mean that? Predatory opportunists? They took in hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars. This Black Lives Matter alone. The line about having a complicit black person in your planning space is pretty damning. It also raises the question of how white activists have been getting away with using just a few black people for cover has worked for so long. Why has it worked for so long? It's the old saying, your enemy of my enemy is my friend. That these woke, white, progressives and leftists to the black community were useful idiots. And the vast majority of these woke white people, the useful idiots, were cover for the violent portions of Black Lives Matter and Antifa, gave them cover during the riots. That's why you got mostly peaceful when you have 2,000 people protesting and only 100 smash windows and burn down buildings. It's mostly peaceful because these useful idiots gave them cover for a long time and caused hundreds of millions of dollars in damage, over $1 billion, and killed dozens and dozens of people. Way more than blacks have died at the hands, unarmed blacks at the hands of police last year. Dozens and dozens and dozens. Way more than, like I said, the unarmed blacks. But yet, where is the outrage? This is your outrage. All of a sudden now, Donald Trump is gone. The Democrats, or the radicals, have the House of Representatives. The president is no more than a Weekend at Bernie's character. And the Senate is held by a hair's breadth, with Kamala Harris being the tie-breaking vote. They don't need these useful idiots anymore. But that's the problem. You brought it to the dance. That's the date you brought. You're stuck with them. And they're not going to go away because they have nowhere else to go. Their ideology is everything to them. Everything to them. These flat earthers will always believe this. Every once in a while, you'll see one or two kind of peel off from the crowd and say, you know what, maybe this is a little too bat blank crazy. But it takes a long time, just like a cult member. It takes weeks and weeks and weeks to get that out of their heads, that the world isn't flat. But we'll see what happens. Let's read on. I haven't met a lot of professional leftist political organizers. Oh, there's quite a few out there. But I have met more than the average person has. Every one of them has been lily white. Oh, we gotta do a little laughter on that one. I mean SPF 100% white. The over 40 people who signed on to this letter are pretty much admitting what we in this side of the political aisle have been saying for years. White liberals see minorities as pawns to be used for their own purposes. Yeah, and the so-called black community has been using these useful idiots for their purposes. So they've been using each other for each other's individual purposes, and the narcissism just is out of control. Portland has been a renewable powder keg since last May. It will be interesting if this will have any impact on reducing the constant turmoil there, or if the woke white libs will merely continue doing what they've always done, because they know no other way. And here is the contact email for Stephen, I believe it's pronounced Cruiser. Yeah, he's right. Are they having a family feud? No, but the thing is, though, each side now will say the white, woke, progressives and leftists think the black community leaders are foolish and sometimes stupid. And the black community thinks that these white, woke leftists are ridiculous and stupid. Well, they're both right. They're both right. If somebody... I'm half Italian. My father was 100% Italian. If somebody down the Sons of Italy downtown here in Binghamton, I live in upstate New York, got on TV and said, I speak for all Italian Americans and their descendants in this city, in this area. I go, full of crap. You don't speak for me. I don't know what you believe in first. To speak for me, you got to know what I think. And you didn't bother to ask. That's why you see the white leftists, the woke leftists, go against ID for voting. Because these mental pygmies think that black people and brown people are simply too stupid and incapable of getting identification. They don't know how to use the internet. I mean, that was a good one, too. And these are all the college students out of NYU. Graduate students. They're not capable. Even our own president said that. Can you imagine how condescending that is? And now the black community in Portland is saying, wait a minute, you guys are a little effed up with the condescension and the other things you say, that they finally caught on? I don't buy it. I don't buy it. They've known the whole time they were like that. And they used them because they were useful idiots. And the white woke progressives used the black community for their own personal narcissism, so to speak. And so there you have it. Sorry, guys, but you're both stuck with each other. And you're both going down the drain together. And until next time, folks, goodbye and good luck.